say over the future of the country. A reaction now from one of those new Republicans, Florida Congressman Allen West. Congressman, welcome to the program. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks so much, Stuart. It's a pleasure to be with you.
You know, conventional wisdom has it that if you get out there and propose any kind of cuts in entitlements, and you get out there first with those cuts, you will lose. You'll be demagogued to death. You agree with that?
Well, Stuart, if you could just give me about a minute, I'd like to read you a great quote that I think answers that question. It comes from Theodore Roosevelt. It says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never knew either victory nor defeat." And I think that what you see is a lot of cold, timid souls who are dialing it in and voting present,
so
and jeopardizing our economic future.
You're the guy, you want to be right out front. You want the Republicans to come right out there, jump in on the big issues, Social Security, Medicare. Let me just hold on for 1 second, Congressman. Politico is quoting one senior Democratic aide today, and this aide is saying, when it comes to Republicans and the crackdown on entitlements, this aide says you are suckers. In other words, you are falling into the trap. You're going out front. More or less, you're falling into the trap. You're not scared of that, are you?
No, I'm not, and I think having 22 years in the military and been in combat, there's not a lot that I'm afraid of. The most important thing is that the American people are looking for leadership, and from President Obama down to the Democrats, they're abdicating that leadership, and I'm more than willing to pick up that mantle and make the hard decisions for the American people for our economic future if they decide they don't wish to do so.
All right, let's transfer to the issue of shutting down the government. I want you to listen to this soundbite briefly from a leading Democrat.
Shutdown as possible, because that's what the Republicans are threatening us.
There's a possibility that there could be a government shutdown.
The Republicans threatened to shut down the government as they did 15 years ago.
There should be no reason at all for a government shutdown.
It does seem like the Democrats want you to shut down the government, thinking that they will win politically. But again, you contest that. You don't think it's going to. You don't think you'd lose, do you?
No, I don't, and I think that what you heard in those sound bites were the perception of leadership through fear-mongering. We're not talking about shutting down the government, and actually, the president is the CEO of this great corporation called the United States of America. We're going to make recommendations to him, and if he continues on with his failed economic policies, he has the responsibility. And I think it's time that the president of the United States stands up as a leader, stands up and takes responsibility, and looks forward to the future and the legacy of our economic situation here in this country, and not try to push it aside on someone else. I'm sick and tired of this chicken little blame game that they play.
All right. Telling it how it is, Representative Allen West, Republican.